in the body, everything is interconnected. And there's the realization that the things that are happening in our gut, for reasons that I'm more than happy to explain and unpack, are impacting what's happening in your brain, which includes your mood and your cognitive function, meaning like your ability to perform complex um, mental, like neurologic tasks during the day, your endurance, and
Let's just
also
pause on that for a sec because I think that's huge. So you're not only saying it's affecting your mood, your emotional health, it's actually affecting your performance, your cognitive abilities.
100%. And the people that you're describing, let's put aside for the moment the idea of some sort of diagnosable illness,
Right.
and let's just talk about high performers, which is that if you want your brain to perform at optimal function, which means smart, fast, have a great memory,
Mm-hmm.
being able to perform multiple different tasks, and to sustain that with endurance during the course of a stressful day, you absolutely need to get your gut health into alignment as much as possible
Well,
because of the ways in which the gut is influencing those different processes. So they may be separate, but they are talking to each other literally right now. And the things that are happening in your gut are affecting what's happening in your brain. And the things that are happening in your brain are affecting what's happening in your gut.
so to really dumb this down for me, when I'm having IBS, when things just aren't working, what is my gut trying to tell my brain?
IBS is this: you have to have abdominal discomfort and you have to have a change in your bowel habits. So it's not just discomfort, it's not just pain. It's also that you're somewhere on the spectrum of diarrhea, constipation, or back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And classically, people that have IBS, their discomfort is remedied by pooping. They feel better when they go. All right. So this is the classic pattern. And again, different things can masquerade as this. So you need to rule out, celiac disease and inflammatory bowel disease and all these different things. But at the end of the day, this is what's going on. Okay. So what's actually happening in the body? Well, it's taken us a long time to get to this. But part of what's happening here involves the microbiome.
Mm-hmm.
The microbiome is struggling. And if you were to look under the hood, every single person that has irritable bowel syndrome has a damaged gut, which we would call dysbiosis. That's the language that we would use. All right. And in part, the microbiome, when it's struggling, that affects our health because the microbes produce chemicals that affect our gut barrier, our immune system, the motility of our intestines, like how our intestines move and process and digest our food, and affect nerves. There are, so we have this thing that people refer to as the second brain. By the way, I would argue it's the first brain. We can talk about that if you want to, but, um, and we also call this the enteric nervous system. So the second brain or the enteric nervous system. Well, this is the nerves that are involved with your intestines, which are something on the order of 20 to 25 feet long. And there's 500 million nerves.
Oh my God.
These nerves, by the way, 500 million is actually 5 times what you would find in your spinal cord.
Mm-hmm.
So your brain has more nerves, but that's the only organ in the body that has more nerves than your gut. And these 500 million nerves are constantly feeling and sensing. And the job of a nerve is to receive information and transmit.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's receiving information from deep inside of you. And the problem is that they can become dysfunctional like any other organ in the body. And when it's dysfunctional, you develop something that we would describe as hypersensitivity, which means that things that should not trigger you to feel pain, they will trigger you to feel pain. And that information gets relayed up to the brain, and then you say, I am feeling unwell. I have a discomfort in my gut. So
I gotta go.
I got to go, right? And in essence, here's the package of symptoms: dysfunctional gut microbiome, which is affecting gut motility. Because gut motility is affected, now we have either diarrhea, constipation, or both. And simultaneously, you have developed what we call visceral hypersensitivity, which means 500 million nerves are not functioning the way that they're supposed to. And you're feeling things that make you feel unwell. And that's a real thing, by the way. I'm not in any way trying to make it sound like you're like the body is making this up. It's not. It's just that the brain and the nerves are not functioning the way they're supposed to. So you're hypersensitive,
Mm.
and that is in short, like this is actually the underpinning. Like this is I just basically gave you the class on what every gastroenterologist in America should know about the way in which we manifest this condition that we don't have a diagnostic test for. Why? Because you can't have a diagnostic for 500 million nerves, and you can't have a diagnostic for gut motility, and you can't have a diagnostic for the gut microbiome that's reliable enough.